We'll be live on Facebook in 5, 4, 3, 2, and we are live. Welcome to this special yours truly Adrian H. Dragon Coffee with Dragon special vigil. Live on Facebook, we're going to do some meditations, we're going to do some philosophizing. We are going to do some art. First and foremost, I am grateful. Thankful that my rent is paid in full. My electricity is also paid in full, so I've paid my rent and electricity in full, and I'm here. It's 12:31, putting some work, philosophical, intellectual, later some athletic as the people's athlete, yours truly. The people's athlete, independent fitness captain. I encourage all today or tomorrow, if not today, you're going to postpone it. To workout, train, exercise, half an hour more. You come yours truly, do with yours truly, Dragan Zero, captain of the Dragon Army. A little bit of exercising, working out, training, and exercising. It has been, is, and will continue to be my medicine and therapy of choice. Working out, training, and exercising, that is my medicine and therapy of choice, and I believe it is or can be for many. Have been, and will call for the mass financing thereof people to work out, to train, and to exercise. And of course, I am proud to have created my own workout training program, which, although I'm broke, independent athlete, people's fitness captain is broke, but my workout is gold, and I've performed more than 290. I've reached 290 sessions since I've started off that same workout with modifications here and there, sometimes longer, double trouble in the sun, with extra added additions recently, the Gridiron North American football drills, which yours truly will continue to, of course, pursue and do and integrate in my workouts, in my training programs that yours truly is doing. So today, maybe later on, more than half that I'm going to work out, train, exercise. The 291st 291st session since I've started October 17, lost more than 77 pounds. Yours truly, survivor of depression, been suicidal, been depressed. I'm no longer depressed and suicidal, healing every day. And working out, training, exercising does great wonders for the mental health. Do advocate it. If I do need anything at this point in time, is for more loving of that. Love is action type is my philosophy. Of course, love is action. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. And how do we invest in it? In the body, by working out, by training, and by exercising the mind, the body, and of course the spirit, by meditation, connecting with nature, the sun, the moon, and of course fellow human beings. And I'm not perfect, far from it. Got issues, got vices, got lust. I admit it. At certain things I am mediocre, at other things I am average. At certain things so I am great at geopolitical analysis and theory. I am great at philosophy, intellectual, academic discussions about geopolitical events, issues of concern, past, present, and perhaps future. As of course, my geopolitical analysis back in October 2019 have proven in many ways to be correct and quite on the mark, that we are indeed, humanity, embarked on a path towards another international conflagration. And of course, I am a world peace advocate, but I'm not that naive to not see my own darkness, my own hidden fears and things that we don't admit, that we have aggression, and that we admit openly that I have aggression and I have been and am and will continue to channel it, to sublimate, such as, of course, NFL football, CFL football, in sports, we do a lot of that channeling, sublimating, don't we? In sports or in art, so they don't want me to start rapping, I'm going to rap for the railway workers. Railway workers, go that choo-choo on that train, because I love you. Today's a special railway workers, conductors, train conductors, all those working in railroads, on the rails, on the trains of the collective North American civilization. First and foremost, love you, kiss you, hug you, because kisses got to offer, and you might say no to my offers, but to my willingly loving allies and armies, pledge your legions, that what can offer is what I got. I got kisses by the trillions, first and foremost, some hugs, some tickles, some raps, some philosophizing. Can march in steel toe boots, because I did march in steel toe boots more than all the leaders of the free world combined and all the generals of NATO combined. And on this 12:34 p.m. in the 13th of September, yours truly, Dragan Zero, Adrian H. Dragonborn, being reborn, Adrian Hana Dragon. I am thankful, grateful that my rent is paid in full, that my electricity bill is paid in full. So that duo have fulfilled my responsibility, duty, and obligation to both pay my rent in full, fully pay my rent. My underground room house and temple. I'm grateful, thankful for that. Fully paid my electricity bill. Thank you. Love you, kiss you, past, present, and future workers of Hydro Quebec. Gonna do a meditation that I'm doing this, and awareness that I'm doing this video. Which it is work for me, philosophical, artistic, humorous, sometimes a comedy. Take some comedy to heal and some humor to heal as well. Don't mind people if I make people laugh. Sometimes that's good because I'm not a fucking dictator. I ain't no fucking dictator, no fucking dictator. And of course, I want to love and be loved and take action and heal and break the impasse, break the impasse, break the impasse of a personal, private nature that's facing us. And love, love, and hopefully the main message is make love tonight with consent and hygiene, with consent and hygiene. Make love tonight with consent and hygiene. Make love tonight because if somebody's not making love tonight, what are we fighting for? Get ready those ICBM nuclear warheads, which we built over more than 42 years during the Cold War. Boop, boop, boop. Civilization's gone over with. Next page. Somebody's not making LOV tonight, love tonight. What are we fighting for to save? Stock market. How the stock market trading? Who buy, sell, trade stocks, options, futures, buy, sell, trade, paper, paper, paper. Well, can't eat paper, but I can drink this cup of coffee. And money, I am for prosperity, I am for prosperity, I am for prosperity. But money is a means to trade, to exchange, to do, to enable, to do. And my brothers and sisters, everybody gotta eat, and a lot of that food is being transported on the railways, which I'm doing a meditation now of all those railway, the freight trains across the collective North American civilization. And of course, the collective North American civilization is one of my theories as a geopolitical analyst and theorist, that us North Americans, we constitute a collective North American civilization. We are a collective North American civilization. In fact, North America, US, Canada, Mexico, and paradoxically, I include Cuba, Haiti, country of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and the islands in the collective North American civilization for XYZ factors. And of course, the origins of the collective North American civilization are from the Second World War, being a response to the Western civilization being at war with each other, sort of a war, of course, with Nazi Germany fighting all of the rest of Western civilization, some might say, and of course the Germans being part of the Western civilization with Italians as well, and other countries in North America, of course, and that the collective North American civilization is not totally divorced, but yet it is a distinct civilization. It contrasts distinct civilization with features, infrastructure features, and other features, linguistic, having not so many languages spoken, that, for example, Europe and XYZ other factors, and it's a response, the arisal, the emergence of the collective North American civilization response to the events of the Second World War, and it's not divorced, yet it is distinct. That have did lectures and discussions and lectures before, and if anybody wants to commission on a specific, again, under my theory, geopolitical theory, the collective North American civilization, please feel free to do so, blah blah blah. And it is my geopolitical theory and analysis, and encourage all to please increase in hygiene in public, increase in hygiene in public today. If you go outside, if you step outside, please wash and disinfect your hands with soap and water. Wash and disinfect your hands with soap and water. Wash your hands and disinfect with soap and water regularly. Wash your hands with hand sanitizer. If you step outside, one is no longer just a private citizen. Now I'm sharing with the world my philosophies, my geopolitical analysis and theory, and this meditation and artistic and art and songs and everything that I share, of course, on the public forum and online. And if I encourage all to work out, train, exercise regularly, physical activity. It has been, is, and will continue to be medicine and therapy for me, as I believe it can be and is medicine and therapy for you, and have been and will call for the mass financing thereof of people to work out, to train, and to exercise. And please, leaders of the Canada, US, left and right, centers, yours truly is a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist. I'm a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist. I'm a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist who's not perfect, got issues, got vices, got lust, and do not play it self-righteous. Especially when I rap, I can give a deliciously disgusting diatribe of rapping that might seem like utter madness, utter profanities, but I resort that to my hobby rap. But I do rap for the farmers, for the truckers, for the butchers, for the bakers, for the cooks, for the railway workers, for the construction workers, for the nurses, for the doctors, for the daycare workers. Rap, rap, rap. For the daycare workers, know about all the money. Sometimes that's a fact. Not everything is about money. Sometimes that's a fact. Not everything's all about money. Sometimes that's a fact. Please, 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 multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires, CEOs of corporations, music corporations, and sports corporations, CEO owners of, and athletes, multi-millionaire athletes in the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Please cut the check because you can afford it. You got 3 houses, 3 cars, or 4 houses, or 7 houses, 7 cars. You don't need another 8 house or 10th car. Cut a check for some of those workers in the railways. Cut a check, give them a few thousand, put it together, and give them a few $1,000 in the check there. Don't be so selfish. And I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna act like I'm self-righteous, selfless, totally for the other as well. I try to be balanced. I admit I want to afford a good piece of bacon, good bacon to eat. I would eat bacon and poutine probably on the every day. A good whiskey, a good cognac, a good drink, a good champagne. I admit it. I'm not without somebody who's totally spiritual and esoteric and floating on clouds. I have physical needs, as a matter of fact. I have been craving a good massage therapy session during COVID, and unlike the multimillionaire athletes, although got some brain, some muscle, gonna flex. Let's flex a bit. People's athlete, more than 77 pounds down, lost more than 77 pounds. Create an own workout program that requires no equipment, which is perfect for COVID, with some brain and some muscle, with some brain and some muscle. If I could use now a good massage therapy session, calling on a pro bono event, multi-millionaire Tom Brady, multi-millionaire Carl Nassib to come in this underground room office and temple to live stream Facebook via live Facebook, do an event, and I'm going to be reading the playbook, NFL playbook rules, going to be reading it while they give me a good hand rub, neck massage, or I'm going to read the NFL and the CFL playbook, contrast the difference between Canadian football and NFL football. I'm going to go rate them on the 1 to 10 scale. Yeah, that's what I need. That's what I can fucking use right now because my motherfucking rent is paid. Fuck. An independent athlete, artist. Not gonna complain if I don't find solution. Please, if you don't have constructive criticism, better to refrain because I'm going to give you a warning. I'm going to give you a second, and I've never blocked anybody on social media. And yours truly, I fight my own wars, my own battles. If I offend anybody, we can put on gloves anywhere, anytime. Bring CNN, bring anybody. We're going to put on gloves and tango, ramble. Or we can freestyle with words, battle rap, or philosophical. Dragan Zero fights his own battles. Put gloves with anybody, any place, anytime, one-on-one. Anywhere, any place, anytime, we can put on those gloves. Actually, I got a good pair of boxing gloves which my sister donated. I'm still challenging Donald Trump. Yes, I am still challenging Donald Trump. I am still challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian US dollar. On the correction. On the Canadian US border due to those tariffs. So I find on the Canadian aluminum and steel, which I find it could have been alternatives. But anyway, due to him being a silver spoon born tycoon unlike yours truly, Dragan, who to blood, sweat, and tears is turning that A of the surname into an O, to blood, sweat, and tears and thousands of push-ups, squats, and hawks is turning that A into an O, to thousands of push-ups, hawks, and squats. Or to thousands of push-ups, thousands of squats, thousands of hawks is turning that A into an O as I'm speaking. I'm gonna train some mind today, now, early before we train the body. We're gonna go on some reading. We're gonna read about railways. Donald Trump, read about railways. Give from your money. You sold for the people. You claim to have billions. But you mass finance them. Because with all the vices and the issues and the lust that I have, and I do admit I have, I like some physical pleasures. I admit it. I wanna have a good bath. I like to have a good bath, have a bigger bath. It's squeezed in there and some muscle. I like to have a bigger place so I can work out more and have more books and have one room for art. I would love to have a house. You know that house in Westmount there that I've been calling between 53 the Belvedere and 57 the Belvedere. It's been decrepit for like 7 years, left to decay, decrepit and desolate, but with some love. My willing, loving allies and armies, we can make it a dragon's house of love, the dancing goddess, and the dragon kingdom's house of love, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom's house of love, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom's house of love. This kiss is God, so now perfect. And we're gonna do some reading, train the mind today. Calling all willing living to the global dragon union. I'm calling all willingly living to the global dragon union. I am calling all willingly living through the global Dragon Union. This is lunchtime for some. We're gonna have lunch later. I'm gonna be grateful, thankful. I got some rutabagas. Gonna thank the farmers. I got these rutabagas, which I'm gonna boil. See this meditation. There's rutabagas. Cut. I'm gonna boil. They're gonna nourish me for me to work out, to train, and to exercise. Holy, sacred, and divine fruit. Well, it's not really a fruit. It's a legume. It's a legume. A legume. But initially was made, created, and produced and designed by the dance of the goddess with her brother sun, just like all the other fruits, all the other vegetables, all the other legumes are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun. Brothers and sisters, farmers harvest first to make, upgrade, or maintain civilization. So thank you, love you, kiss you, farmers. If I proceed, I'm going to say my gratitude. Thank you that I paid my rent in full for September. My electricity bill is paid in full for September. My rent's paid in full. So my duty, responsibility, and obligation has been fulfilled. I'm saying this because I know during COVID and even more now in the past weeks and months, more and more Canadians have been economically, financially, commercially struggling. And of course, me being LGBTQ, they already got Colin Seeb, who's not the only one. He's the only one in the open in the NFL. There's one on each team on all the patriarchal sports league of the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, and MLB. There's one who's LGBTQ, who's you know gay, bisexual, lesbian. Speaking gay or bisexual, since it's their patriarchal male sports leagues, and none of them identifies as androgynous, or like yours truly is. Of course, androgynous. I consider myself to be a man, a woman, especially at night. I'm a woman of the night, and a woman of the night, and a woman of the night. Other things aside, now that we, a little bit more about me, and I share my private life. Action is required, right? Action is required. For my own healing, action has been required, whether to do push-ups, squats, hawks, to lose weight, to get out of depression, being suicidal, lose weight, and start feeling better about my own body. And of course, I accept all body types. You're an ally, army, XYZ, doesn't matter. You get kisses, hugs, just like everybody else. You get blessings, kisses, hugs, just like everybody else. Never blocked anybody on social media yet. I get a lot of scams, I know you from this high school. I can barely remember high school, early childhood, early adolescence. Remember many past lives, many other incarnation. Paradoxically, remember more 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 or so years. I have periods of struggle, periods good events in my life, bad. I've struggled with depression, being suicidal, and I've read tens of thousands of books as I've made the libraries of the city of Hawk Island, Montreal, my second home, and read tens of thousands of books. I've written tens of thousands of pages of philosophy, theory, art, some of which, of course, are transcribed in USB keys here and there, a few USB keys all over this office room and temple, and some memorized in the mind, and of course, my trinity of theories, which I've written over the past more than 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and I'm calling to be implemented ASAP. I believe in the implementation of my trinity of theories: citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, democratic fusion theory. A trinity of theories in order to create the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragan Service and Security Army, to be integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations, and the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, to be an integrated dance league for purpose and pleasure. Purpose for pleasure, for body to dance, and for the environmental education and action. Because if it requires action, my own healing has required action, and action is required. I can just blah 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 advocate for people to work out, to train, exercise. If I don't do it, but I did it. More than 291 sessions. I'm excited that if I don't die tonight, life is short. I'm triple vaccinated, encourage all to get vaccinated, but if I die tonight, I say that my allies and armies get credited trillions of kisses. Life is short. I fight my own battles, like I said. If we offend each other, or you can challenge me in a dance battle duel, dance battle duel, dance battle duel. Put on gloves, box, box, box. Freestyle battle rap. I fight my own battles. Blah, 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 blah. Leaders of the free world. My message to the leaders of the free world: brothers and sisters, drop down. Give Dragan 013 push-ups. LOVE, and for the sake of world peace. Simple. Calling all to support the global, the Dragan Zero World Peace Summit. We'll meet at the corner University in Sherbrooke, corner of Sherbrooke University. We'll meet at the corner of Sherbrooke University. Discuss the implementation of my trinity of theories, and by that trinity of theories to create the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, which I'm calling the creation and the establishment thereof, to be integrated at different levels and to take action at different levels across all Hawaii, Montreal, Canada, and North America, for that matter, the collective North American civilization, and my brothers in the USA, my brothers and sisters in the USA. Yours truly, I was an American twice in past lives. I remember in the past life, I was admiring in the USA those railways. Like, what in the heck is this? What do you call that? A locomotive? Good goddamn. Started swearing. Who should I ask questions? What is that noise for? What is that? I got scared. I remember in the past life, I saw the locomotive puffing. I'm like, whoa, what in the heck is this? In like 1870s or something. It was like 1871. Between 1870 and 1880. The good old US of A. In the past life, I saw a locomotive somewhere around, where was it? I can't remember the state exactly, but in that past life, I saw me some locomotive for the first time. It started coming in, the locomotives in North America. And looking at those locomotives, I was damn impressed, and I said, this is going to be a good thing for this new world here we have in the new United States of America. And it turned out to be correct, because for more than 156 years since, in this incarnation that I'm here, and I was an American born in past lives, served in the U.S. Army, yes, 156 years ago, 718 miles that way in the back of Hawk Island, Montreal. Yours truly served in the U.S. Army. Yes, you heard it right. In a past life, 156 years ago, 718 miles south of Hawk Island. 780 miles south of Hawk Island. Served in the U.S. Army. Even more than those miles. So I remember seeing a locomotive for the first time in the past life. Whenever it was starting to be more and more available. The railroads were being built. And those railroads proved integral to the development of the collective North American civilization, Canada, and the United States of America. Sometimes I did so much meditation during COVID, how many things were taken for granted, and my struggles with disillusionment and organizations and proposals, and nothing gets done. And not nothing gets done, but sometimes not a lot of things that, so I don't like to generalize. Some things get done more or less than others, but things that I want to do more. And yes, I have fault that I've been XYZ depressed and suicidal, and I created the best workout that requires no equipment still, that I'm proud to have created, that I'm advocating for people to be mass financed across the collective North American civilization, for people to work out, train, exercise by a public-private partnership in the Dragan Army, my dream. The two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions are this dream of mine, but it's backed by philosophy and action. You can see hundreds of my workout videos, live stream working out, training, exercising. I'm challenging the patriarchal sports leagues, the athletes in the NFL National Football League, NHL National Hockey League, NBA National Basketball Association, MLB. We saw last week we did a few videos live. I've knocked on, did a few emails. I'm gonna knock on some doors, some more inspired by the quote I've seen. Opportunity doesn't knock, you gotta build a door. So I built some doors. I've got some answers back later after this video work, philosophical meditation, and we're gonna be reading on railroads today. We're gonna be reading on railways. Today it's focused today on Coffee with Dragan, reading on railroads. So how many railways, how many railroads, how many trains are operating now across Canada and the US and Mexico, across North America? Stands, maybe there's a number. Across Canada, 77 are going east or west at this point in time. There's that knowledge, there's that wisdom. That number exists. I don't know it. I can speculate on XYZ factors of my knowledge. I don't know it all. I look at this smartphone. I know a little bit about it. I know that Stingray, you listening? Drop down, give me some push-ups. No need to spy on me, RCMP, CSIS. CSIS ceases. 42, 42, 42 code 42, man. You better watch it. So how many trains? So many trains, beautiful trains, conductors, railways that were built in more than 156 years across Canada, US, Mexico. And freight trains, right? The goods that are being carried. Look at these peanuts. Let's do a meditation. These peanuts that I bought on discount. Says that they're made in Canada from domestic and imported ingredients. Maybe all those boxes, all these peanuts that are made in Canada, but the imported peanuts, maybe peanuts from the USA. It doesn't say, it says imported ingredients. So the peanuts can be imported from the USA, can be imported from another country, can be put, and maybe it was on a freight train traveling coast to coast. Maybe tons of coffee or hundreds of kilos of coffee that I'm drinking. I don't know the coffee of origin. Maybe it was transported on those freight trains to come to my table. Maybe from the USA, south all the way to Montreal, Hawk Island, the big metropolis. The supply chains of the trains. And now I'm doing this special vigil on this 12:56 p.m. since there's a planned strike. And I'm a pro-labor centrist. I'm a universal revolutionary centrist based on my own philosophies and theories that I believe integral for the 21st century, for some solutions for the 21st century, and while admitting that yes, I would love to have a bigger office where I can work out, train, exercise more, I can dance more, because workout, training, exercising can do it here, but dancing for me requires a little bit of more space to dance, because my dance is like I'm the world's greatest living millennial, one of the greatest living millennial dancing rainbow poets in the universe. Can dance for the workers, dance for the workers, dance for the real workers. So to do more, and of course to have food security, and yes, to love to afford a good bottle of wine, some cake, yes, some cake, some good sweets, not too much, because I like myself some sweets, but to afford the pleasures of life, to afford a massage therapy, offer them a check to get them a massage therapy, the railway workers, all of them, multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires, you got all that money in the bank, finance for them to offer them something. They might say, nah, I don't like being touched. That's fine, offer them an alternative. Massage therapy, a weekend at a hotel, a spa, all these things for the body. Good 3 days eating for free at a restaurant for them and the whole family. Restaurant coupon, make a deal, cooperation with the railway workers. And I'm not perfect, far from it. I got issues, I got vices. I've been depressed, I've been suicidal. Say you can complain and not take action. My rent's paid in full. My electricity bill is paid in full. 13th of September. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut myself some lunch later. I'm open for business. Soul lover, move along. That's okay. If you wanna, I've offended, blah blah. We can. Donald Trump first in the boxing match. Me and Donald Trump, we're gonna tango, ramble first in the boxing match. My brothers and sisters, channel the aggressions, do push-ups, do hawks, workout, train, exercise. It has been, is, and will continue to be medicine and therapy for me. Working out, training, and exercising has been, is, and will continue to be medicine and therapy for me. Have been, am, and will call for the mass financing thereof. Leagues, and I'm gonna say patriarchal because my brothers and sisters, let's be honest, there's not even one women's sports league which makes even close, economically, financially, commercially, to what the women's sports leagues make, right? There's no women's sports leagues who gives millions of dollars in salaries. My brothers, in the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Triple the salaries of the cheerleaders. Cut a check for the women's sports leagues. We gotta do some action. And the economic, financial, commercial pressures to do, because money is, what is money fundamentally? Is a means of exchange, a means of trade, to acquire goods and services, to acquire goods and services, to acquire goods and services. My call for the Dragan armies to be for security and service for the 21st century. Services with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love. No judgment. All services to be able to be offered on demand, on request. So there's no abuse, there's accountability. Don't want people asking for 3 hours of massages, 3 massages every day there. I haven't got one in years, so. But what can you offer? What I can do? I can cook, I can cook, I can cook, I can clean, I can paint, I can train, exercise, workout, drill, workout. Offer services to take the children for an exercise because they're driving the parents cuckoo, so cuckoo. So they need a half an hour to work out, to train, exercise, get some sweat, play some soccer, play some football, do a dancing. Services, all services with consent and hygiene. What a Dragan can offer to others. What can you do? What can I do? Can we do? Well, I can cook, I can clean, I can read, I can do some math, I can do some this, I can clean, exercise, work out, do push-ups, do hogs, do squats, march, dance, philosophize, can massage, can kiss, guided. Service and security for the 21st century. People can't afford more, less and less services across the collective North American civilization. Right? And by my theory put into practice, citizen integration theory, to learn about everything, how everything works that functions as a society. For example, to see how the dams here, I would love to see some of the dams. There's 63 dams that power the electricity, Hydro-Quebec, hydroelectricity inside this La Belle Province, east, west, north, south, built with some brain and some muscle. 63 dams with brain and muscle, built for many decades, since 1963. Well, 1963 is the modern, because it predates by a few decades the Hydro-Quebec, but the modern, the way it's structured bureaucratically, in a bureaucratic, legal, public corporation form of Quebec, dates to that time, but it predates it. So we have 63 dams now who enable me to do this video and have this light above my head, and my coffee brewing, and my cooking later, and my watching a movie later. Clean, renewable, zero pollution. It's zero pollution, clean, renewable, Mother Nature friendly. All the energy that I'm using to do my philosophy, my art, to do everything that I do, to work out, to put it online. Clean, renewable, zero emission. Things we gotta be mindful about. Brains and muscles of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of Quebecers who worked or labored with brain and muscle to build these dams. And we also give à peu près 5 États, 5 ou 6 à peu près, des États qu'on donne aux États-Unis, nos frères et sœurs de l'Amérique, parce que les Québécois, on est des Nord-Américains. La séparation, c'est plus un sujet pour nous autres quand même. It's not a subject for us anymore. Spit a little bit of French there. I also write poetry in French, philosophize in French. I'm a Quebecer. I'm a North American. Many past lives in the USA, past lives here, born in Quebec. Met Louis Cyr in a past life, was a Quebecois. Pushed some horses, me and Louis Cyr, on the butts of the horses. But pushed the butts of the horses, because they didn't want to go in. Ils ont dit les chevaux, ils ont dit on veut pas être vendus aux Anglais, nous autres. C'était des chevaux québécois. On veut pas apprendre l'anglais, là, on est déjà vieux. That's a little bit of jokes. What I said in French is, I don't want to, it's too late for us, we're too old to learn English. We want to stay in Quebec, because they're being sold Westmounters. And to ensure and secure freedom, and freedom is a double-edged sword. And when we have economic, financial, commercial pressures to be free, it's hard, it's tough. I've lost economic, financial, commercial opportunity and continuance, and the blessings, and been laid off being LGBTQ. Perhaps I got a big LGBTQ rapping mouth, that's okay. But you gotta give everybody a warning. You gotta give everybody second chances. I deserve second chances, you deserve second and even third chances. I'm living perhaps my 7th chance with all these reincarnations. I deserve maybe a little bit of slap. Ich mach was. Blah blah blah. Vincent and was. Karl Marx, man. Blah blah blah. So, whoever. What if I haven't heard from you in the past 7 years? Best not, honey. Looking for allies and armies, and all my willingly loving allies and armies are my de facto family. Pledge your allegiance, legions. All my willingly loving allies and armies are my de facto family. All my willingly loving allies and armies are my de facto family. All my willingly loving allies and armies are my de facto family. The collective North American civilization. To break impasse takes action. So to implement citizen integration theory, one of the trinity of theories, is to have the Dragan army with the dancing goddess east, west, north, south, and integrate with all existing public and private institutions and corporations. To see how farming is done, to see how these dams function. To get a tour by Hydro-Quebec workers to see, wow, see, one of these dams or part of a combination of these dams powers our electricity that we use to function in our modern 21st century. Now we plug in the smartphones, plug in maybe the coffee maker, right? And we also give to the 5 states, I'm sure 5 states in the US, maybe even six, maybe even 6 states now, gotta check. Hydro-Quebec. I think now it's maybe 6 states that we give electricity that's clean, renewable, zero pollution, emission energy. Right? To see how farming is done, how railways work, how airports work, how food processing works, how food processing works, how recycling is being done, when the garbage is being picked up, where does it go, how does it crushed, how the recycling is being done, how does it crushed, how does it modeled, how is it recycled, where does that big machine go, drop it off at that plant, what does that plant do? Citizen integration theory means by my institutions that I'm calling the creation to be created ASAP with the new in parallel to the existing institutions, that my brothers and sisters have served their purpose. Some things have served their purpose, I gotta say. Like, I've been depressed, I've been suicidal, I'm no longer depressed, suicidal. I've served its purpose for me, I've conquered it. It's been a hard battle, yeah. Been stuck in bed. I'm looking for love. Love is also action, because it's love, is love. Dancing goddess and the dragon army is the dancing goddess and is the empire of the willingly loving, man. Is the empire of the willingly loving. The empire of the willingly loving also requires doing. I don't know it all. At some things I am mediocre, I admit it. At some things I admit I am average. At some things I admit I am so-so. While being great at dancing, at geopolitical analysis, at poetry, I'm good at rapping. I'm good at art, at independent athletics. I'm super excellent at geopolitical analysis, at some great at theorizing, psychological theory, sexual theory, merged together, fused in combination duo, psychosexual theory and analysis. I'm great at that. While at some things I can do better, I can improve. In this life, psychology, philosophy, theory, poetry, art, the irrational, emotional is my chosen path. In that parallel self, parallel life, science, innovation, and technology is. And I've been connecting with my parallel self during COVID, and I get headaches because in that parallel self, I'm a scientist, where science, innovation, and technology is my chosen path, where supercomputers, ICBM rockets, satellites, and microchips is all I know in that parallel life, science, math. I get headaches from connecting during COVID with that parallel self, where all I do is type code, write computers, networks, and satellites, telecommunications, and microchips in that parallel life. That's my main 93% of my core is super processors, microchips, AI, satellites, smartphones. In this life, philosophy, work as advocacy, athletic as an independent athlete, independent activist, the people's athlete, philosopher, geopolitical analyst and theorist, independent psychological analyst and theorist, independent sexual analyst and theorist, student scholar of history, wars, civilizations, who's not perfect. So connecting with my parallel self in this life as a philosopher, as an athlete, as an artist, as a theorist, gives me headaches because that parallel self sends me mathematical equations, applied science and applied mathematics, and the table of elements and the elements functioning of the transmission of information and sound via the internet, and transmission of information and data via 3G networks, 4G networks, 5G, and my parallel self is at the 7G now, so he's ahead in the future. I get headaches. 56,000 pages, and then another 56,000 pages, then another 56,000 pages, then I got 156,000 pages and 718, 156,000 pages, 718 pages, and 93 words to read. Get headaches. And I say to my parallel self, yeah, I admit you're great. Wow, so, satellites, microchips, supercomputers. Wow, bravo, man. Takes this. And he says to me, what do you got? Well, I created this workout. I analyzed the geopolitical analysis, and I've said that humanity, based on my own analysis of my own self, of my own aggression, which I admit I do have, I channel it. That's what we do in sports as well. It's necessary to channel so that we harm none. No, we harm none. So that we channel the aggression and the violence in sports. Or art, rapping, rap, whatever. Rock and roll, right? Rock and rap, get a sweat on, do a dance, channel, sublimate with love and understanding. Says to me, what do you got? So I say, I got this workout which I've created October 2019, of which I've done a few sessions. When I started connecting, it was February 2020 when I got sick first time of COVID. Almost died. I died during COVID anyways. Adrian H. Dragan died being reborn. Adrian Hunt of Dragan. He said, what do you got? I got this workout I've created that requires no equipment. Send me the rules. I send him the rules of the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, which are this: 93 minutes to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hocks, 13 repetitions maximum per set, 3 minimum anywhere in between, and in between you gotta march or jog or run or walk fast pace, a minimum of 31 seconds. Once again, those rules are. So my parallel self, who's a scientist in that parallel life, tries to do it. So he says, wow, he claps at me. I can't do it yet within the rules. I gotta build some muscle. But I'm gonna try again. So I said, well, if you're gonna try again, I'm gonna try again to understand your satellite computer networks and your supercomputer networks and your 5G and 6G and 7G and your microchips and smartphones, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So I got headaches, and he gets muscle sores. It's connecting with that parallel self. So during COVID, we connected more and more, and he's more able to fully do my workout within the rules that I've created, of which I've done more than 290 sessions so far. The General War Integrated Total Body Training System is the perfect workout training program that requires no equipment. It is perfect for COVID, requires no equipment, and it is, of course, a super workout that increases general overall fitness. Super workout requires no equipment and increases general overall fitness. It is meant to do that, to increase general overall fitness, and that's what it does. I've performed more than 290 sessions so far. And of course, the paradox of it is that we was designed, made, and created to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, which in a nearly paradoxical providential way resembles the COVID-19 health and financial crisis. Now, on COVID, brothers and sisters, my trinity on COVID has been, is, and will be this. First and foremost, I do not know what caused COVID for sure. I know I had it. I tested again because I was sick in September 11. I was really, really sick. I am healing now, third day, feeling better. Took another test, but I had it at the end of January 2020, run at the beginning until about mid-February or so. Mid-February. I was really sick and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. Many ways I did die during COVID. And then I had it again, 2021, and then I tested positive a few weeks ago. And I quarantined for 11 days, self-isolated, because I tested positive. I was sick. It was milder. So every time it was milder, First time was the hardest, the second time was so-so, and the third time was even milder. So-so, milder, so-so, milder, hardcore, milder, less mild. So could say hardcore, then average, then milder. First time was the most intense and hardcore. I thought I was gonna die. So please, hygiene in public, please, hygiene in public, please, hygiene in public. Hygiene in public. Encourage all to train, workout, exercise. Encourage all to work out, train, exercise regularly. Encourage all to hygiene in public. Please wash your hands, disinfect your hands with soap and water. Disinfect your hands with soap and water. Wash when you go step outside in the public. Right here in my underground room, office and temple. My rent's paid, my electricity bill is paid in full. I don't have to didn't have to share if I don't want anything public to call to all to offer my business, offer a call to cooperation, partnership, to support, to do business or pleasure, to do business or pleasure, to do business or pleasure. I'm open and willingly loving to do both, plus Trinity and other dimensions. But when I step outside, I'm no longer just private citizen Dragan. I'm also public citizen Dragan with added responsibilities, duties, and obligations. When I step outside in public, added responsibilities, duties, and obligation when I step outside in public. Sure, I encourage and want us to love to see people hygiene, wash their hands when you go in a grocery store, when you go in a bank, when you go in a mall or a school or whatever. Wash your hands with soap. If you're vaccinated, that's great. I love seeing people holding hands, hugging, couples loving, couples loving. Gives me joy. Gives me joy to see the youth play sports, laugh, giggle. I love that. That's one of the things I love the most. Hearing children loving and laughing. And that's the anthem of the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Hearing youth and children loving, laughing, living. There's no words to the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom's anthem. There's music, rock, fusion, techno, classic, rap, instrumentals, but on the sounds of children loving and loving and laughing. That's what it is. The anthem. Loving and laughing children. That's what the anthem of my vision dream for the dancing goddess and the dragon anthem is. Children laughing and loving. 1:18 p.m. Please, Wall Street, Wall Street, Wall Street. If you make a million on the stock market today, profit, buy, sell, trade stocks, futures, options, or you made a million on the stock market yesterday, or you will make a million on the stock market tomorrow, please give 10% for food security first and foremost, because food is essential. Everybody gotta eat. Everybody gotta eat. Everybody gotta eat. Even multi-millionaires and multi-billionaire CEOs in the tower somewhere on the 31st floor. My office, principal, headquarters of the Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom is on Mount Royal, where it's a mixture, a fusion of nature and civilization. It's a forest. And there's a belvedere there, like a chalet. Wanna be that house painted red and green and rainbow on the floor about with dancing children, and put a priestess goddess with 12 children round about in all colors, and a lion and a snake, and on top like a statue. That's what I want to see there. And a dragon flag, and a dancing goddess like this emblem type, with a phoenix, people's party, a rainbow flag with a rainbow phoenix. It's my dream, that's my vision. Allies, blah blah blah, supporters in any way you can do. Because love is action. Kisses God. And to be honest, if I do want to continue living, as I do want to continue living and doing it, is to love more, to kiss more, to hug more, to wash more, to sing more, to cook more, to write more, to read more, to massage more, and to also receive a little bit of good wine, bottle of wine, a good kiss and massage, to receive and give, right? I'm not totally selfless, just give, 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 floating on clouds in my spirituality. I sanctify spirituality, the flesh. I sanctify and spiritualize twerking. I sanctify, spiritualize twerking. I sanctify, spiritualize twerking. Twerk it, twerk it, twerk it for the workers, work it, work it. Twerk it, twerk it, twerk it for the workers, work it, work it. Twerk it, twerk it, twerk it for the workers, work it, work it. It's a new song, just made a chorus. You got the lyrics. They can make it for the workers, railways, railway conductors, train conductors, all workers of railways. I'm doing this vigil due to the strike that's announced maybe for Friday. I'm gonna read some news and we're gonna get at it soon. I say thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, truckers, farmers, butchers, bakers, grocery store clerks, nurses, doctors, daycare workers, warehouse workers, those loading and unloading the trucks. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you. Construction workers, infrastructure, building the aqueducts, building the roads. Mayors offer to give the construction workers a good hug or something. Some people might say no to offers, but at least offer. Because if you don't offer alternative solutions or criticism to offer an alternative, like my debt refusion theory, where I say finance, money, XYZ. Money fundamentally is a means of exchange, to exchange, give or receive goods or services, or buy, purchase houses. My debt refusion theory, I believe it's best at this point in time to be implemented. Basically, my debt refusion theory is this. Take all private and public debt. If private debt is represented by X, and if I'm X1 and you're X2 and there's thousands of X's, hundreds of X's across the collective North American civilization, then take all the X's. My X, which is $10,000, and your X, which is whatever the number is, 1,000, or you got 22,000. All the X's combined of the private debt of private citizens, my debt, then your debt, then other debt of the private nature, the municipalities, the countries, Canada, US, Mexico, Germany, Israel. So take all the public and the private debt in NATO member countries first, plus Israel and other nations. I'm calling on my brothers and sisters in the Middle East, in Africa. I'm a Pan-American throughout North, Central, and South America. But first and foremost, I'm in Hawk Island, Montreal. From here, I call the implementation of my trinity of theories, or the collective North American civilization, because in North America, we do constitute a collective civilization that's emerging, that has been emerging since the Second World War. And my theories to be implemented are mainly for the collective North American civilization and open to NATO, to Israel. But of course, for example, if it would be also Israel and not just US Canada or US Canada Mexico, we have to do the conversion. So take all the debt, whatever the number is, in X amount, X, Y's, X and Y's, X representing the private debt. My private debt to the RBC Royal Bank of Canada is 10,000. Pay the most debt servicing, aka interest, I ever paid since the Bank of Canada raised the rates again. So it's affecting majority even more debt. I have to pay more interest, right? Debt servicing. And my policy after debt refusion is implemented, my theory is implemented, to have 10% maximum interest on all loans. No higher than 10. That's my principle. I'm calling those who make $1 million on the stock market profit to give 10% for food security. 10%. That's a principle. Blah, blah. 10%. 10%. 10%. Debt refusion theory. Debt refusion theory. Debt refusion theory. Take all public and private debt, whatever the number is. If my private is 10,000, yours, and then we have to do the conversion because it has to be converted into US dollars, because Canadian dollar is not equal to the US dollar. So it has to be the conversion. In Germany, they don't use Deutsche Marks anymore. They use euros. Israel, they have Israeli new shekels. So whatever the number is in US dollars, with that, take all that number of the private and the public debt, convert it to US dollars, whatever the number is in US dollars, and take, of course, the money in supply, that initial number, create a new financial, global, transnational, international, and North American and international global financial institution to have a new unit of exchange, a new unit of exchange, because that's what money is, a unit of exchange, of trade, of doing commerce, business, finance. The UE, what I call the UE, preferably by biometrics, the hand, the voice, and the eye being unique biometric identifiers. So I'm calling on the corporations as well, all public and private institutions to support this theory to be implemented. Bill Gates, my astrological brother Scorpio, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, fly me some more Dragon rockets, fly me some more Dragon rockets, fly me some more Dragon rockets. Elon Musk, brother, please cut a little bit of checks to the railway workers, my brother. I can offer to do some services for that. Come give a massage to each Tesla, or kiss your workers, or tickle them a bit, whatever. Do a dance for them, do a workout. Because I'm not just someone who just ask, give. I wanna give of my philosophies, of my working out, of my theories, of my blood, sweat, and tears, of my knowledge, the little that I have some on different domains more than others. So the implementation of my theory, debt refusion theory, all debt, create this new currency unit of exchange, and after what that number is, whatever the number is, that to be the initial money supply with a 10% interest on all loans, with a 10% interest on all loans, with a 10% interest on all loans, whatever the money supply is. Then we'll know the money supply initially will be the number, that number of all the public and the private debt in US dollars. So that will be the initial credit, and then we could expand it. And by the Dragon Army secure food, housing, and transport. And by the Dragon Army secure food, housing, and transport. And by the Dragon Army secure food, housing, and transport. And after we secure food, housing, and transport for all citizens, allies, supporters, subjects thereof, the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, services, fourth dimension to the holy, sacred, and divine trinity of civilization. And then encourage people to volunteer, to have the Dragon Army who is out to do XYZ. Food, housing, and transport. Food, housing, and transport. Food, housing, and transport secured. Encourage people to hygiene in public. Encourage and support hygiene in public. Encourage people to support hygiene in public. Encourage people to work out, train, exercise. Encourage people to work out, train, exercise. To offer services, volunteering. I'm looking for volunteers. I'm looking for volunteers. Citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, democratic fusion theory. By these theories created two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions. The International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, modeled after my philosophies, my theories. The Dragon Army to be for service and security, secure food, housing, and transport, and public-private partnership to offer services. Consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love. The principle harm none, principle harm none, principle harm none, principle. Principle harm none. All services to be offered with consent and hygiene. With consent and hygiene, all principles to be offered with consent and hygiene. That's it. Fundamentally, in essence, there's more in-depth philosophy to it, but generally, in generally overall summarized, that's the citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, democratic fusion theory, the Trinity, Holy, Sacred, and Divine Trinity. A public-private partnership, all institutions and organizations, public and private, of the collective North American civilization first, because I believe we have an impasse and we have the dangers and the looming threats, which has become a more dangerous world over the past weeks. My prognosis, analysis of geopolitics has proven to be correct. We have not learned to secure and ensure freedom, to ensure and secure liberty, to balance things, to channel aggression and violence, to channel and sublimate aggression and violence via love and understanding. And has World War III started? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's starting now. I'm here in Hawkeye, Montreal. I call on the public security forces, all corporations, public security forces, supporting my theories, the implementation of my theories. As a geopolitical analyst, philosopher, I'm a world peace advocate, but I'm not naive to not see what's going on in the world, since I've been analyzing and have admitted and admit that I have aggression myself. I channel it. I'm going to channel it later to do a good workout, a good drill, maybe write a poem, not a great super poem, a song. I'm best sure I'm going to work out, train, exercise. And now I'm going to train the mind. I'm going to get a refill. I'm going to train the mind because we're going to read about railways. We did 1 hour of me philosophizing. We're going to read an hour on the railway situation, since it's a planned strike. So as a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist, there's a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist, there's a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist. All the farmers, all the truckers, all the bakers, all the butchers, all the nurses, the doctors, the daycare workers, all the grocery store clerks, all the warehouse workers, all the train conductors, all those working in railways, construction workers, Hydro-Quebec workers, your Dragan Zero, Global Dragan Union, Kisses got to offer, Hugs got to offer, some philosophy got to offer, some brain and some muscle. Holler, see me a lot of times marching on the street in red, just holler, Dragan, Dragan, Dragan. If everyone to heart can give each other a hug, no problem. You're vaccinated, please get vaccinated, please get vaccinated. I might ask you, did you wash your hands today? Before I might ask you, did you wash your hands today? If not, I often carry my disinfectant, so I'll probably give you some. And then there are germs, bacteria, and microbes. So the implementation of my trinity of theories is what I'm calling and advocating for. Citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, democratic fusion theory. Once again, citizen integration theories, while we have the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdoms, institutions, organizations, armies, the dancing goddess army and the dragon army on the floor, east, west, north, south. Citizen integration theory to encourage people to have, by buses, by rail, by public transport, by volunteering transport, buses and trains, to go see farming, how farming is done, to go see how here in Quebec the dams operate. This big dams, 63 dams that enable me to do this, educate myself and do some philosophizing in this live video. Which is important for me to make as part of my work as an independent fitness captain, an independent athlete, an independent activist, universal revolutionary centrist, pro-labor centrist. Some brain and some muscle. Who does not play it self-righteous? Who does not play it self-righteous? Who does not play it self-righteous? I can be intense. Intensity is part of my character. I get moody, I get upset, I get irritated. I've been craving massage therapy during COVID. Cannot afford it yet. Millionaire Tom Brady, Kal Nasib. Do some pro bono. I'm gonna doing it right here in this room. Upson Temple. Tom Brady on my left, Kal Nasib on my right, and then switch defense, offense, defense, offense, offense, defense. And I'm gonna be reading the NFL rulebook and the CFL rulebook. That's for athletic art, and we're gonna raise money for the Dragon Army and for the Women's Sports League, Women's Sports League. Blah, blah, blah. It's 1:34 p.m. in the EST. Please, if you make $1 million on the stock market today, you still got time to make that. It's 3 hours of trading. I'm going to have to stop this video, go cook, because I haven't eaten. I'm going to have to cook for myself. Leaders of the free world, multi-millionaires, y'all cook for yourselves. President's prime minister, you got to cover, you got to cook. That's good. I would order something in, but cannot afford it. I would order something in, but cannot afford it. But I'm grateful, thankful that I got food. Grateful, thankful that I paid my rent, paid my electricity bill, got food, got noodles, got rutabaga, got some cheese, got milk. Thank you, dairy farmers. Got milk. So debt refusion theory, taking all private and public debt, whatever the number is, converted in US dollars, create a global new financial structure institution to issue the UE. The UE is a UE stands for Universal Exchange Unit, to buy trade goods or goods services. But services, of course, if we have the Dragan army, will be integrated. So we'll have different service organizations in parallel to trade with the UE, but the Dragan army will offer whatever can be offered, all services. So we're gonna get a refill, and we're gonna read about railroads. List of Canadian railways. We're gonna start with the Canadian railways. We're actually gonna start with the news. I'm gonna type in railway. I'm gonna go through the news. Railway in the news. Since this is dedicated to the railway workers, the train conductors, the railway workers of the collective North American civilization. So this vigil and this rant and philosophy is dedicated first and foremost to the railway workers, those on railroads, train conductors, and all workers, because there's not just the conductors, but all in the maintenance of the railroads, in the operations of the trains. Love you, kiss you, hug you. First and foremost, this vigil is dedicated to the railway workers, as will my workout later today be dedicated to the railway workers, to the railway workers, to the railway workers. So the railway workers, this is from 51 minutes ago in the news on online. So I just typed in railway. Railway workers could go on strike Friday. What you need to know. It's in the news. More than 90,000 railway workers could launch the first widespread U.S. railroad strike in 30 years. Biden, White House officials get involved in railway talks in bid to avert strike. President Biden and his cabinet have been directly involved in trying to broker an agreement between rail companies. And please, my multi-millionaires, brothers and sisters, multi-billionaires, athletes, just do something. If you've got a million in the bank, if you're a multi-millionaire, millions in the bank, or billionaires even across collective North American civilization, Canada, US, North America, we are a collective civilization, and we have integrated railways, right? The freights and the trade and the commerce and the culture is very integrated, and we constitute a collective civilization in many ways. That's why I'm calling for the creation of the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions. And of course, if you're a millionaire, donate, offer to give the workers, give them cut them a check, cut them a check, cut them a check. Offer to sponsor them some services, some eating at a restaurant for 3 days, or to go at a spa treatment, massage therapy services. Maybe they can choose between some $1,000 for food, for restaurants, or for spa services or recreational services, whatever recreational services. Could be massage therapy. Say, yeah, I can afford one. It's not provided. The work can't afford it either. I can get some. So please do that. Please do that. Please do that. Athletes, multi-millionaire athletes. Biden White House officials get involved in railway talks in bid to avert strike. President Biden and his cabinet have been directly involved to try to broker an agreement. Severn Valley Railway paints engine nameplates. Oh, that's to do with the Queen in Britain. A potential railway strike is already slamming the economy. Looming railway strike could cripple U.S. supply chain. If roughly 60,000 rail workers vote to strike this Friday, store shelves could run empty and prices on many of our basics. The interesting thing is there's discrepancy here. Here it says 60,000 before it says 90,000. So that's a third discrepancy, but maybe because not all have voting or XYZ other factors not accounted for. Tripura CM meeting with NFL CM, GM, General Manager. Oh, that's nothing to do with a strike. Europe most scenic railway journeys revealed. That's in Europe. Railway strike. Gonna write railway strike 2022. What do we get? So this was from 2 hours ago from the Washington Post. Freight rail strike threatens supply chains, prompting White House planning. White House aides are looking at how to ensure essential products carried by rail, such as food, energy, and key health. So my brothers and sisters were athletes or artists, rappers. Y'all living in gated communities, bro. Y'all rappers living in gated communities, bro. Bro, you living in gated communities, yo. Maybe you get some of that food, yeah, because everybody gotta eat. Even rappers, athletes, CEOs, those buying, selling trade there, Black Rock, Black, Black Rock, buying, sell, Fink. You gotta eat, Mr. Fink, Mr. Fink. Fink works at Black Cock is a not that well known, but among finance, Black Cock is well known. It's the most asset management. Donate to the railway workers. Give them a good checks. If you buy, sell, trade on Wall Street. So railway workers could go on strike Friday. What you need to know. More than 90,000 workers could launch the first widespread U.S. railroad strike in 30 years. A potential railway strike is already slamming the economy. Just the potential of a... Pardon? Oh yeah, Betty. Betty, can you please not forget the chips, can you? If they're on special for $1 for movie night. Oh, it's pouring rain, huh? Yeah. A potential railway strike is already slamming the economy. Railway workers could go on strike Friday. What you need to know. Supply chain concerns grow as deadline for freight rail strike looms. A pair of unions representing 57,000 conductors and engineers say they are willing to strike over quality of life issues. Amtrak is canceling train as railroad unions prepare to strike. Amtrak is canceling trains. This is an hour ago from Business Insider. Amtrak is canceling trains as railroad unions prepare to strike, throwing the rail network into chaos. Amtrak is canceling trains as railroad unions prepare to strike, throwing the rail network into chaos. Amtrak is canceling trains as railroad unions prepare to strike, throwing the rail network into chaos. Amtrak suspended the Southwest Chief Empire Builder, California Zephyr, and the Los Angeles to San Antonio portion of the White House is to. This is from BNN, Bloomberg Business. White House is pushing unions and rail companies to avoid strike. President Joe Biden and other senior administration officials remain engaged with unions and freight rail companies. Rail strike threatens water and energy supplies, prompting White House planning. This is from the spokesman. Biden White House officials get involved in railway talks in bid to avert strike. National rail strike could cripple supply chain. This is from the Gazette. Little sign of progress has been ahead of a massive potential walkout beginning this Friday off the freight railroads. Possible rail strike changes Amtrak. A fierce strike starting Friday by the railroad industry impacts Amtrak services in Creston. Amtrak announced Monday. Losing steam. Amtrak cancels multiple long-distance routes in anticipation of railway strike. 3 Amtrak routes went off track Tuesday when the train company canceled the long-distance routes in anticipation. Freight rail strike would mean full shutdown for Virginia Railway Express. Virginia Railway Express is telling passengers to find travel alternatives on Friday in the event of a full rail strike. Hoyer suggests Congress would move to stop rail strike if needed. My brother's multi-millionaires. You also give him some checks. Give him some. Billionaire CEOs of the sports leagues, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, and multi-millionaire athletes. Give them a. Let me check if I have money. I just want one. Yeah, I'll give it to you now. Let's see. Yeah, whatever. I'll have it. Yeah. So I'm gonna need if it's at 99 cents only. Barbecue, yes. Yeah, I got a good dollar that was printed in 2022. Let's see how much money I have. I'm reading regarding economic, financial, commercial matters. But my rent's paid, so I'm good. My electricity bill is paid, so I'm good. I got $6 and I got a US dollar. But I'm gonna count how much I have Canadian. I do have a US dollar. So I got 5, 6, 650, 660, 670, 680. Yeah, only if it's 99 cents. Thank you. It's $1.15 with the tax. On a bag of chips, only if it's on special. Maybe if my sister finds it at the market, will get it for me on special. Thank you. If my sister Anonymous gets it on the special on the market, maybe I'll get it on the special on the market. If I get it, Anonymous sister will give me the. can give you the money now. Yeah. A U.S. rail strike looms. White House aides scramble to avert crises. The Washington Post. Careless looming railroad work. Huh? No, I wanted to give you the money. Why? I wanted to see what you were wearing. Careless looming railroad workers strike won't impact South Shore commuter rail. Daily Dozen, Forbes. This is one of Forbes magazine. Looming rail strike. Wells Fargo penalty. Kanye's exit plan. Or is that mixed together? What? Kanye, yeah, give the railroads, you got millions, rap for the railway workers a little bit. Amtrak suspends some, this is from CNN. This is from 19 hours ago. Amtrak suspends some long haul routes ahead of potential freight rail strike. Biden and cabinet officials in touch with the rail companies and unions as threat of strike looms. This is from CNN. President Joe Biden and members of the cabinet have been in touch with the unions and companies involved in the high-stakes negotiations. Amtrak cuts 3 long-distance routes, citing potential rail strike. Rail strike deadline carries economic and political risks for Biden. Biden jumps into a rail dispute to avert possible strike. Capital Corridor train likely to be suspended if railway workers go on strike. Unions under pressure because rail strike may cost $2 billion a day. That is the economic, financial, commercial, the financial estimation. Unions under pressure because rail strike may cost $2 billion a day, but cost to whom exactly, right? Because if you manage where the profits go, it will be mostly for the stock owners, right? Buy, sell, trade shares, buy, sell, trade stocks. Unions under pressure because rail strike may cost $2 billion a day. So 2 billion, if a billion is and who estimated this, we have to look at the more numbers, of course, to discern, because 2 billion, of course, is a macro level, it's a macroeconomics in many railways, and it's the biggest in 30 years. So if it's 2 billion a day, that is 2 billion a day. A billion is 1,000 million. 1 billion is 1,000 million. 1 billion is followed by 9 zeros. Coal, lumber, and food under threat by potential U.S. rail strike. So unions under pressure because rail strike may cost $2 billion a day. That's $2 billion a day. Wow, it's a high estimation cost. Chemtrade announces potential impact from impending U.S. rail strike. Rail and postal workers suspend strike action following his death. So it's in the news, not everywhere, but in a lot of places. But this was 12 minutes ago updated, so let's read. Grassley says Congress needs to step up to prevent a rail strike. And my brothers and sisters who make profit, not just Congress, who make so much profit from the systems we had. It's the biggest strike since 30 years. Corporations to move the goods and services. You have the trade making million profit, buying, selling stock shares, profited athletes. Where you think you can get all those multi-million-dollar contracts? Part of it is because of these railroads. Part of it is because of these railroads. Part of it is because of these railroads enable it. So thank you, love you, kiss you, workers, past, present, and future railways, railroads. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, past, present, and future railway workers, train conductors who built these roads here. These railways, and the conductors. Choo-choo-choo! Love you, kiss you, hug you. If I would be a multi-millionaire, I would get checks. No, because I was, even as a Canadian, North American, because I was an American twice in past lives, and I always remember for the first time seeing the locomotive, I'm like, wow, what is this? What is the devil? What did this devil do? What did this devil do? I don't know, those are the words that I said, and it's science. And in a parallel life, I am a scientist. If I would be a multi-millionaire, I would, to whoever railway workers, I would give them a few bonuses, random or whatever selected, checks. Let's say I would be a multi-millionaire, billionaire. So, well, I can give them a few, to like whatever number selected. Maybe conduct a survey, see who's in need, more food security, got more kids, more children, more kids, children, XYZ, to finance them some, or to cut them checks. The checks just the money in the bank, the money in the bank, the money in the bank accounts to get a check. With rail strike looming, two unions are holding out. Working conditions, more than pay demands, are holding up the resolution of a years-long labor dispute between the nation's railway unions. A rail strike could result in a damaging economic shock. What will Biden do? Grassley says Congress needs to step up to prevent a rail strike. A pending rail strike could make inflation even worse. Inflation is bad enough as it is, but if a pending railroad strike becomes a reality, things could get worse. 3 hours ago, a pending rail strike could make inflation even worse. Inflation is bad enough as it is, but if a pending railroad strike becomes a reality, things could get worse. Inflation is bad enough as it is, but if a pending railroad strike becomes a reality, things could get worse. Impending rail strike affects Empire Builder Service, plus University's high ranking from U.S. News and World Report. U.S. rail carriers could now halt grain shipments as early as Wednesday, tomorrow, in preparation of Friday's possible strike. Grain shipments on some railroads, the grain brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters, who are multi-millionaires and billionaires. Athletes. Hut, 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 hut. Puck, puck, puck. Dribble, 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 dribble. Base bad, 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 base bad. And CEOs first of the patriarchal sports leagues. Man, have to cut them a good check, man. Yes. Make a good deal. Railway workers. With Dragan Army Citizen Integration Theory to go learn how these rails operate. Right? There's the rails. Cut them a check, an offer. From the private sector also. The private sector. It's the biggest in 30 years, but in this 30 years, strike how much been profit due to this being built for over more than 156 years, due to these trains being built for more than 156 years, and these trains to be built for more than 156 years. Meditate on that. Now trains are going east, west, north, south. East, west, north, south. Trains are going west, north, south. Carrying grains, goods, oil, water, milk. We gotta say we love them, man. We gotta say we love the railway workers, the railroad workers, the farmers, we love them. The butchers, the bakers, the truckers, the train conductors, the construction workers, workers in electricity, electricians, plumbers, butchers, bakers. We love you, butchers and bakers, we love you. Is the focus on the railways, but also yours truly, independent athlete, the people's athlete, the people's athlete, the people's athlete. I'm hopeful something good would come out of this. The implementation of my trinity of theories will be supported more and more. My advocacy is a universal revolutionary pro-labor centrist. U.S. rail carriers could now halt grain shipments as early as Wednesday in preparation of Friday's possible strike. Shippers ratchet up warnings about impact of potential rail strike. The National Industrial Transportation League An oldest group of rail shippers has asked congressional leaders. Pressure mounts on railway unions, strike rooms in a contract dispute with railroads is certain quality of life. Multi-millionaires, sponsor them some good, go to a spa, to eat at a good restaurant, offer them some massage therapy services weekly, man. The Dragon Army weekly service and security. The Dragon Army weekly service and security. The Dragon Army weekly service and security. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. These conductors, they under stress, physical stress and mental stress. Right, and labor, it takes steel toe boots and brains and muscle. They stop the grain, man. These are our heroes. The collective North American civilization, baby. These are our heroes, man. Every day, hustle and bustle, man. The train workers, man. They're our heroes, man. How we got this civilization open. Reward some of us. Dribble, pass. Get a $5 million a year contract to play us football that you love. Oh, I love the railway workers, railway conductors. You come to me with love, I'll give you love. Love I got, kisses got, hugs got. We can work out, train, exercise, philosophize a bit. We can do. Because action is required in breaking impasses. Resolutions, breaking impasses have to be taken. Resolutions and breaking impasses have to be taken. I understand the ego is involved. Well, ego sometimes gotta get, and I'm not perfect. I'm not total egoless. I don't pretend to be egoless and so spiritual that I'm floating on clouds. I lust. I watch a little porn. I admit it. Only during the weekends though. No need to spy on me. RCMP, ceases. NSA, CIA. Stasi. Well, the Stasis are gone in November 1989, and Mossad. Tiny feet, tiny hands. I got a tiny little androgynous scar-clad dick because I am androgynous. I'm LGBTQ. But that's only part of who I am. As much as I'm a philosopher and geopolitical analyst and theorist, now we got that out of the way. I got tiny hands, tiny feet, tiny, tiny hands, tiny feet. But I can throw some footballs with these tiny hands. These tiny feet, I can march, and I did march more than the generals of NATO combined during COVID. And got us. I can kiss, I can massage, I can do, clean, cook and clean, philosophize. I can do. And I can love. And love is also action. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. I can imagine these workers, how much stress they've been during COVID and even before. Some have worked for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. They need a massage therapy session maybe every week. Like the multi-millionaire athletes, they get it every day for free with their multi-million-dollar contracts. Offer them to go give them a massage. NFL players, NHL players, NBA players, and MLB with the Dragon Army. Let's go. We're gonna record it, live stream it. Dragon Army, Dragon Zero goes drill so that the multi-millionaire players in the NFL gives offers because some conductors will say, no, I don't want massages, but give me some good bacon. Give me a good spa. I'll stay a weekend at a spa resort, at a resort in Canada or US and vice versa. Right? Because the body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. I can imagine the railway workers, their physical stress, their bodily stress, the stress they're there to go hours on a train to be alert, to navigate or to maintain the locomotives, to upgrade, maintain, repair the locomotives, to maintain or repair the railroads and the passenger cars and their locomotives. All that's the work that they do is physical. They need some loving. Loving also action. Maybe they need a massage more than I may need a massage. I took a bath, so I'm good for this week. Take a bath because I cannot afford a massage therapy. I substituted. Here doing some education, some philosophizing, and need to get hungry. So it's 2:05 p.m. You're still buying, trading stocks. Wall Street buy, sell, trade stocks. Continue that monkey business. You went post-COVID to pre-COVID business like it's no thing. Monkey business. You all went pre-COVID. Not all. Pre-COVID business like it's no thing. Pre-COVID business like it's no thing. Doing monkey business. I don't want to go back to pre-COVID nothing. Break the impasse. Believe my universal revolutionary centrist and the philosophies and the theories, citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, and democratic fusion theory, best to be implemented across all public and private institutions and organizations. The 21st century with the global Dragan Union, of which, of course, I have the 11 principles thereof. So the potential railway strike could disrupt train services in the DC area. This is from updated 7 minutes ago. NBC Washington. A railroad strike may impact commuters in the Washington, D.C. area starting at the end of the week, according to Mark. 2 hours ago, losing steam. The Amtrak canceling. From Time magazine. Potential rail strike squeezes Biden between unions and economic peril. Oh, my brothers and sisters. I'm multi-millionaires. We try to get together NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, MLB, corporations, multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires to make a gesture, even if it's a one-time gesture. Said this one time, some multi-millionaires and some multi-billionaires, got a few good checks to the railway workers, and you got a good gifts for some massage therapy services, hours, or to go to a spa or resort, to a spa resort, or to get some restaurants, cover food, or a good check. Maybe they can use it how they see fit. Maybe they can use the money how they see fit. Can use the money how they see fit, perhaps sometimes best. Because money is a unit of exchange to trade and buy and sell goods, fundamentally. Possible rail strike changes Amtrak. A feared strike starting Friday by the railroad industry impacts Amtrak services in Creston. May cost $2 billion a day, and that to whom exactly? $2 billion, right? Salaries, impact, buy, sell. Of course, a lot of impact, bigger, but 2 billion being 2,000 million, because a billion is 1,000 billion. To whom exactly? The Union Pacific Railroad, which is one of the strike. Union Pacific, legally Union Pacific Railroad Company, and often called simply Union Pacific, is a freight hauling railroad that operates 8,300 locomotives over 32,200 miles. That's 51,800 kilometers. Routes in 23 U.S. states, west of Chicago and New Orleans, and you see on the U.S. map. And of course, with the Canada, they have integrated. We have integrated railroads, right? They connect. CN, Canadian National, Union Pacific Railroad, first transcontinental railroad project. Union Pacific is the second largest railroad in the United States after BNSF, with which it shares a duopoly on transcontinental freight rail. Transcontinental meaning across the continent, North America, southern United States. Founded in 1862. In 1862 I was an American, roaming about in the USA. 1862, when it was founded, right? All right, or Civil War. It was Civil War time, right? It was Civil War time. Originally, the original Union Pacific Railroad, founded in 1862, when I was in a past life born in the USA. There's a system map. It was part of the first transcontinental railroad project. North America's first transcontinental railroad was a 1,911 mile, 3,075 kilometers continuous railroad That line constructed between 1863 and 1869 that connected the existing Eastern U.S. rail network at Council Bluffs, Iowa, with the Pacific Coast, at the Oakland Long Wharf on San Francisco Bay. All the work labored. This is why multi-millionaire athletes, thanks to all these railroads you had since the 80s, your multi-million dollar contracts, man, for more than 30 years, more than before the other strike that was scheduled on the that was scheduled to strike on. Supposedly this is going to be the biggest in 30 years, so it's since the 90s, right? Part of the first transcontinental railroad, North America's transcontinental railroad. I have to do a reading just on that tomorrow. The Dragan Army on calling for securing food, housing, and transport. A global Dragan unit, food, housing, and transport, railroads, trains. Railroad conductors, train operators. First transcontinental railroad, North America's first transcontinental railroad, Pacific Railroad, and later as the Overland Route. Was a 1,911 mile, 3,075 kilometer continuous railroad line constructed between 1863 and 1869 that connected the existing Eastern U.S. rail network at Council Bluffs, Iowa, with the Pacific Coast at the Oakland Long Wharf on San Francisco Bay. The rail line was built by 3 private companies over public lands provided by extensive U.S. land grants. Wow. The owner, U.S. government then. It was an operation. Now it became a transmuted the name, right? Now it was called Central Pacific Railroad, and I can see there, wow. And now it's Union Pacific Railroad, freight hauling railroad that operates 1,000 locomotives, like we said. And this is part of the strike. Union Pacific Railroad has more than 156 years since it was built. In 1862, I was there in a past life. And the Norfolk Southern Railway. Norfolk Southern Railway is a Class 1 freight railroad. What's Class 1? In the United States, railroad carriers are designated as Class 1, 2, or 3. So we're learning more. We have 3 classes. 1, 2, or 3 designation, according to annual revenue criteria originally set by the Surface Transportation Board in 1992, with annual adjustments for inflation. There's numbers of the economic numbers. So Class 1 designations. This is Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. Norfolk Southern. I'd have to learn some more. What is Class? Tomorrow we're going to learn about railroad classes, and see it integrates with the Canadian in North America. See, it's there on the map. Class 1 railroads of North America, and all the way to Mexico. See, we have the map. I'm going to save that map. Food, housing, and transport. Railroads, Dragan Army, secured. Give those some good loving, the railway conductors. They deserve it. Love you, kiss you, hug you, man. There's blah, blah, blah. I would give some random... if I would have millions in the bank account. If y'all gotta eat some... When you go on strike, I would have pay you some good food and good meals. Even some good... If you drink beer or whatever. Or liquor or whatever. Not too much. Not too much. Not too much. I gotta say, hey. Freedom, liberty requires some responsibility. God dang it. Let's do some push-ups. For every beer, we do 10 push-ups. For every beer we drink, we do 10 push-ups. For every beer we drink, we do 10 push-ups. God dang it. For every shot of whiskey, shot of cognac, shot of brandy, we do 10 push-ups. That's the deal with the workers. Interesting. So I have a map here. See all those connected. BNS, those are the names, the acronyms for the names of the, and is there CP there? CP, Canadian Pacific. Yeah, that's CP, so shows all of the North America, right? So that's why we gotta secure with the Dragan Army, all public and security institutions, implementation of my trinity of theories. Because from coast to coast, we gotta have a joint Iron Dome like defense, NORAD system, Iron Dome like defense, NORAD system, Iron Dome like defense, like NORAD system. On each coast to defend North America, Canada, US, Mexico, Canada, US, Mexico, Canada, US, Mexico. Canada, US, Mexico. Railroad classes, so we've learned about the railroad classes. So the Norfolk is a freight railroad in the United States formed in 1982 by the merger of Norfolk Western Railway and the Southern Railway Pacific, with headquarters in Atlanta. So you can see on the map it's the red in the eastern, not too deep into Florida and not too deep into Canada at all. Norfolk Southern, so it's south northeast, concentrated on the eastern. With headquarters in Atlanta, the company operates 19,420 routes miles, 31,250 kilometers in 22 eastern states, the District of Columbia, and has rights in Canada and over the Albany to Montreal. Oh, there you go, to Montreal, right here. Norfolk Southern Railway, I'm reading about them. They're going to go on strike Friday, right? Coming to Montreal. Come to Montreal. They'll give you a hug here in the park or call. I mean, come give you a good hug, give you some tickles, some kisses, or some massage. There are chairs in Mount Royal, the headquarters of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. Headquarters, Mount Royal, the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdoms. Headquarters, Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. Has rights in Canada over the Albany to Montreal route of the Canadian Pacific Railway. So it's a made a Canadian-US railroad negotiation and agreement. A binational, just like the NHL, it's not national really, it's binational. On Dragan Army, I'm calling it to be binational, furthermore trinational, because our Mexican brothers and sisters, I speak Spanish. I learned Spanish due to the love for the Spanish language. I've learned Spanish due to the love for the Spanish language and culture. I've learned it. Mexico is part of North America, my brothers and sisters, just as paradoxically I include Cuba. That's another discussion I've lectured before. If you want a commission, blah, 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 I'm just specific on that. The paradox, an in-depth, profound academic discussion. Free shoot. Got bills to pay. I paid my rent. I paid my bill for rent. Paid it in full. Paid my electricity bill, so phone's bugging me. I gotta connect with them because I think there's been a mistake. They seem to overcharge. I'm not gonna name them. They seem to have overcharged. I'm not gonna name them, but if I can get a deal, operate. Whatever. I'm just gonna do. Today's the day. Carpe diem. 4%. Albany to Montreal, route to South Pacific. This one again. Burlington, Northern Santa Fe is the parent company of BNSF Railway, formerly the Burlington Northern. The company is an indirect. What does that mean? Wholly owned subsidiary. Indirect is again financial jargon. Indirect. The company is an indirect. We'll be more direct, Mr. Warren Buffett. The company is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway, which is controlled by investor Warren Buffett. Indirect. I-N-D-I-R-E-C. Well, sometimes as much as indirect and philosophical, academic, and cosmopolitan as can be, sometimes it's better to be straightforward and direct. Yes, 2 + 2 = 4. Well, we can write it in all the colors of the rainbow plus the black and the white. We can write it in all the colors of the rainbow plus the black and the white. We can write it in all the colors of the rainbow plus the black and the white. Consummated February 12, 2010. It is the largest acquisition in Berkshire Hathaway's history. Lost a lot of memory. Don't remember much about my life before that date. Consummated February 12, 2010. It is the largest acquisition in Berkshire Hathaway's history. Mr. Warren Buffett, billionaire. Cut him a check, make him a deal. What are you going to do with all those billions? Finance them a trip somewhere, a trip, Canada or to another country for a week. Give them something. You can have billions. They need a recreation. They need finance them some massage therapy services every week. Finance them some services, some spa, some restaurant, some training, some exercise. Cut them a check. They need to pay credit cards. Credit cards is maxed out. Most of the workers, credit cards are maxed out. We're paying interest, even more. Interest for me is 10% maximum. My principle should be after we have debt refusion. I'm calling the implementation of my trinity of theories. So I'm gonna go cook now because I'm getting hungry. 2:21 p.m. Still got 2 hours to trade, buy, sell stocks. Wall Street, buy, sell. So this is Warren Buffett. Company is an indirect, I guess that's a technical financial manner to say. The company is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway, which is controlled by investor Warren Buffett. So, with revenues and 29 years ago founded, was incorporated in 1993. Facilitate the merger. And with that, love you, kiss you, hug you.